When the Nissan Maxima was introduced 20 years ago, it had a nice balance. It had plenty of power, good handling, and a dash of luxury. And because of that, it carved out a nice following for itself. Now, the problem recently is that the Maxima so closely resembles the cheaper Nissan Altima, it's kind of lost its way. This is the new 2009 Maxima, and thankfully it looks nothing like the older version and nothing like the cheaper Altima. The most noticeable styling elements are the wide fenders and narrow waist, which gives the Maxima a maxed out look. The new front styling has similar elements to the Nissan GT-R and upcoming 370Z. The hood sits recessed in the front fenders and fascia, giving it a clean look. The wide grille opening and bulging shoulders give the Maxima presence. In order to fill out those fenders front and back, the track has been widened. The rear has a more sculpted look with LED lights, muscular hips, and chrome tips on the exhaust. Because the Maxima is bigger over the wheels, you think it's a huge car, but it really isn't any longer than the outgoing model. It's priced quite well, starts at just under $39,000. If you get the premium package like the one we have here, it's $3,100 more, and the sports package is just $2,000 more. The premium setup gets you 18-inch wheels and the addition of xenon headlights and dual-panel sunroof, to name a few features. And the sports setup gets 19-inch wheels, xenon headlights, and sport suspension. The back seat is a good size, and the seat backs are scooped out to help recess you back as far as possible. I even had my two boys back there in their booster seats, and they didn't kick the front seats. Up front is what we've come to expect from Infiniti, not Nissan, like literally Infiniti. This center stack here that goes from the air conditioning to the radio up to the navigation is exactly the same as an Infiniti product. So it looks pretty good. It's got a lot of soft touch materials on the dash and the door. The one exception is the glove box has this hard plastic. Drives me crazy because that's the one panel inside the car that usually gets scratched, and it will. The steering wheel and seat have plenty of adjustment for the perfect seating position, and the reach to touch any of the functions is easy. Leather heated and power seats come standard, as does keyless entry and starting system. Bluetooth connectivity, tilt and telescopic steering, Bose stereo and auxiliary jack are all standard. That's pretty good stuff. There are some additional packages that you can get for the Maxima that are very well priced. One of them is the technology package, which is on the sport model. That gets you the navigation, backup camera, and upgraded audio equipment. If you have the premium car, then you upgrade to the navigation package, which gets you similar goodies. To sort all the packages out, check them out on our website. Now, Nissan calls the Maxima a four-door sports car. Now, I don't know about that, but I probably would call it a really good handling large sedan. When you're driving, the large fenders are noticeable not only as they bulge just outside the front window, but also when you look in the side mirrors, the curviness of the car becomes obvious. And since they've widened the track on the Maxima, it has a great stance on the road, which is as good as it's going to get for a front-wheel drive sedan. Now, you throw this car about a bit, and you realize that the newly upgraded and reinforced body structure makes it quite unflappable. But the Maxima does have a few design features that might be a drawback or a benefit, depending on how you look at it. Now, the first thing is, this is a front-wheel drive car. Usually not a problem. But since Nissan has taken the 3.5-liter engine and upped the horsepower to 290, it really creates a problem because the front wheels either want to steer the car or power the car, and sometimes those opposing forces cause a little trouble. Now, this kind of torque steer is one of the reasons that Acura has ditched front-wheel drive in favor of an all-wheel drive system in their new TL, and Nissan will be forced to do the same if they keep adding more and more power to this front-wheel drive platform. It doesn't mean that this Maxima is undrivable by any means. You only get that torque steer under the hardest acceleration maneuvers. Now on to the next love it or leave it feature, the continuously variable transmission. Nissan has wholly adopted the continuously variable transmission, and I have to say, they're the only manufacturer that's really sorted out this kind of transmission. It helps incredibly with fuel consumption and is very smooth to drive. But with this big 3.5-liter engine, it gives off a low-level resonant vibration like the engine is laboring, and it's kind of distracting at low speeds. But boy, have they ever sorted out these continuously variable transmissions over the very first ones that had a lot of slippage. What you would do is you'd put your foot into the accelerator and then the car would finally catch up. This is almost instantaneous. It's only under the very hardest acceleration that you get a little bit of that slippage. The other thing is, this vehicle has a sports setting. You put it into sports setting, it's very lively and responsive. There's even manual mode where you can use the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, and it mimics a regularly geared transmission very well. Well, the Maxima, I think, is back. First of all, it doesn't look like the cheaper Ultima, and it has a bold style that I'm really liking. The starting price is good. It's got a great standard features list, and the options aren't that expensive. Now, true sports car lovers might look at this car and think it's got too much power for a front-wheel drive platform, and it has that unique automatic transmission called a CVT. But for everyday use, this is really one slick machine.
For complete specs, go to our website at drivingtelevision.com.